Well, hello everyone. It is Friday the 31st of March 2023. I am Dale Delbridge, Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and this is your status chat. This week has been a particularly rough week, to be honest with you. We've had two rotary wing aircraft that have collided and all souls aboard were lost. We also had another incident that I don't want to talk about. I just want to say my condolences go out to all those who are hurting in this particular time right now. This week, we're going to do something a little bit different. Benchmark Realty is a fairly large company. We have over 1,400 agents. We have satellite offices. We have multiple offices, and we are a team. We also have a sister company in mortgages, bond mortgage, and we have a sister company that we work with in title that does the legal work, which is Momentum Title. Now today, being the last Friday in the month, we happen to have our meeting, our little Zoom meeting, and of course it's hard to get 1,400 people together, over 1,400 people together, so we had it over Zoom, and we had some interesting things come about. I'm going to relate to you some of the information that I got vetted from our attorneys at Momentum Title. I haven't personally checked them out, but these are lawyers. This is what they do. Real estate law is what they do, and so I trust their accuracy in it. And it was brought to us in this end of month training, and we'll talk about that just as soon as we get into that middle segment. If you like this content, please go to calldale2sell.com, find the tab that says on YouTube, click it, and it'll open up a page of QR codes. There you can use a smartphone to scan and get to the YouTube page, or you can just mouse over and click it on a PC. There you'll be able to subscribe to this little button over here and click the notification bell so that YouTube will notify you when each Friday's blog has been uploaded. Thank you. Well, in this meeting today, as I pointed out to you, the data is brought to me from our attorneys, and I have some data here that I want to bring to your attention, and it might be a little bit frightening. Last year in 2022, we had 15,000 fraud cases that were brought to the FBI. Now, we know that's a small estimate, that's an undersized estimate, because not every case of fraud made it all the way to the FBI or was reported to the FBI, and so we know we have more than that, but we can say with great certainty 15,000. This year we expect to see that double. And you might think, well, doubling, that's 30,000 cases of fraud. And you'd be right, because twice 15 is 30. And why mightn't this be? Well, we know in the past we've seen rental frauds where they'll do one of these little schemes, well, go ahead and pay our first month and last month up front, and we're going to rent this, but won't go. If you drive by the property, don't get out and knock on the door, because we're not going to release to the people that are currently in there. We don't want them to know that we're not going to renew their lease. We're going to change it, and you're the lucky winner of this property. It turns out it's a scam. And the type of people that we hit with that kind of thing are usually the people who can least afford it. May have bad credit, may have trouble renting other places, and so when someone brings to them something that seems too good to be true, it probably is. The same thing happens sometime on buying and selling, potential buying and selling. We have a scam where we have fake sellers. The person trying to represent themselves as the seller of the property isn't actually the seller, because they don't actually have that right to sell. It's not their property. They're just masquerading as one type of fraud that we deal with. So we expect to see, as the economy gets more challenging, that maybe perhaps there'll be more people desperate to find some kind of deal. Maybe let's bypass the banks if you don't have good credit. Don't worry about if you don't have good credit and you can't get a conventional loan or a VA loan or a federal backed loan. Don't worry about that, because we're going to finance it ourselves. You might find yourself in a usury situation where there are fees. You might find yourself as not even their property and they're taking your monies right off the bat. That's why, if you choose to try to go into a real estate transaction loan, that's your business. You make your own choices. However, I think if I was having some chest pains or something abnormal with me, I'd want to have my head checked. Well, just see if I got a brain up there, if I need a brain scan, or if I needed to get my heart checked or something like that, cancer checked. I think I would want to go to someone who's main business is associated with health, whether it be an RN or a nurse practitioner or a doctor. I think I would want to go to someone in that business, in that medical business. I think real estate kind of fits that same way. And if we get a little bit more on the, I would call it the hungry side perhaps, or the maybe desperate is a little too rough of a word for you, but where we get in those positions is where we need to have that red flag. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Okay? It just probably is. That's why we need to go in 2023 with some degree of watching of what's going on. And we talked about 15,000 last year. We expect 30,000 this year. We also have over $350 million lost to scammers last year alone. And we have 23,000 business emails were compromised, and that leads into both phishing and wire fraud easily in those email compromises. Now, with me personally, I do use Gmail. Gmail is not secure, and it can be read by advertising, and if it can be read by advertising, there's a good chance somebody might get a hold of some information. But I do something different. When you contract with me, when I have a signed agreement to be exclusive right to sell or exclusive right to buy from you, when we get that going together, I give you a secure second email that only you and I really know what's going on. I mean, others, you have to be a customer of mine to get that email. And I do that because it's a lot more secure. People will most likely hammer on from that more easily penetrated and compromised email that we have with Gmail or Hotmail and some of these other free mail systems that were out there. They're good for advertising, and I use them kind of throw it off, because when we get into a transaction, we're going to a different email. We have paper to sign. We'll go through the wire fraud document. It will help you when we get into this, give you some procedures. You'll check off on me that you've received this, you understand what we're doing, you understand what to do, and we'll do this, and that will reduce your likelihood of being scammed on a wire fraud. And so there's a lot of stuff that we can do to help reduce the risk in your real estate transaction if you hire us. So, and by us, I mean me. Call Dell to sell. It's right there. Call Dell to sell. Now, we have some things, and I can't go into detail because that'd be too long if we went into some of the red flags of the scammers and all that. That you get when you get me, you get those things. I want to talk about wire fraud. The number one way wire fraud works is by spoofing an email. I want you to know that I do use Gmail, but I also have a separate secure email that I never give that email out to anyone unless we're actually under contract, you and I together, in an agreement, in the exclusive right to sell or exclusive right to buy, that I would give that email to. Now, what happens for a lot of cases is people will get compromised in their business email. What did we say? 23,000 business emails were compromised last year, and they won't pull that trigger on having your information, being able to log in to see what's going on. They'll just monitor it. They'll just monitor your email, and if they see that you've got, and this could be on either end of the conversation, they'll get in there. They'll watch for a real estate transaction with their little robots and their stuff that goes on. And when they see one's about to fund, about to do some money transfer, they will send you a little email that says, no, we've had a change. Here's a new address or a new telephone number, new account number. Send your money to this account. And if you're not real careful, if you don't know, like I have called Dell to sell, 1L in Dell, right? Right there. If you don't notice that, somebody can slip an extra L in there and then steal my footer and make it look like you're talking to me and that I sent you that instruction. Well, first of all, I won't send you instruction to that. We have safeguards for this, and I will send you directly to the title company, the ones who are going to receive your funds, and they will complete the account information with you directly. Now, be careful that matches the telephone number and information I give you in our package when we set up to work together. I will give you a written instruction, and you will sign off on it that you have gotten your wire fraud instructions and what to look for, and we'll see if we can keep someone from fishing your money out by looking like someone in the conversation. But now it's into an account. We don't necessarily know where that account is. If it's offshore, money's probably just gone. However much you put in, how many thousands you put in there, it's probably just gone. Okay? It's just out of here. Now with that going away, once it gets out of country, then it normally gets split up into other countries and then distributed into other accounts. So even if there's somehow they can trace one or two of those accounts, you're not getting the whole apple back. Now, I have another statistic I want to read to you after the 23,000 email compromises. Write this down. 1 in 121 transactions were either a successful fraud or an attempted fraud. 1 in 121. That's some pretty bad looking numbers. So it's just what it is. I have some red flags, some other stuff that I've gotten in this training and things we look out for over 1,400 agents. I'm just one of them. I would appreciate if you call Dell to sell, call Dell to buy, because I think I have the backing of a substantial company that has lots of training, and we watch out for each other. We just have a lot of expertise that I think you can benefit from if you contract with me to be your representative. Now, we're going to go over and get to our numbers. We have them for this week. Let's get to that. Mark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. If you are currently unrepresented and would like to know how to compare up to 3 properties side by side and room by room, then go over to my new YouTube channel. Call Dell to sell. That's 1 L in Dell, no spaces. Watch the demo on Real Scout and then call me and we'll set up your exclusive ad-free account today. Well, here we are. Last week of the 24th of March, we had 15,827 opportunities in the Real Scout system. That was down over the previous period, but not really significantly. We had 39.99 in the under contract still showing. Remember, those are the ones that we have got committed, but they're still marketing in case something happens and they get bumped off. They have somebody in backup. That was up over the previous period just a little bit, and the integer ratio between those two remained steady for the 3rd week in a row. This week, 3/31/23, we had 15,885, which was a very slight increase in opportunities over the previous week. We had 47 in the under contracts still showing. That also increased just a tad. And we had our integer ratio between those two numbers remain the same for the 4th week in a row at 25. Now, if you want to engage in real estate unrepresented, that's certainly your choice. I have no exposure in that case because I'm not representing you. But if you want representation as you try to float these waters in the sea of 2023, call Dell to sell, call Dell to buy. And we'll see if we can't get you underway. Appreciate you watching. Have a great weekend.